Alright, so it is 6:30. We are going to pick up the truck. My buddy Jeff is here, giving me a ride. So Jared has fixed the truck. He has done a whole bunch of reconfiguring, but he said he has it good to go. So I called Jeff. He's going to give me a ride down there. He's about an hour away. Thank you for getting up so early and taking me to go get my truck.
I'm up so early all the time.
Nice. I can give you anybody a preview of these wheels. That's like the best color for those wheels, isn't it?
It looks good. It'll look
Sweet.
good on the red.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can contest to that.
Your destination is on the left.
It says it's on the left, it's actually on the right.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you soon.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
No worries.
The EP3, we did the K24. It's funny, on the trip up, we've just been talking about potential next step builds. You know how that goes. All right, let me find out where Jared is. So just a couple of wires moved around, we're good to go.
That's pretty much it.
We won't give away the secrets. Don't give away your secrets, Jared.
Every one of these is a learning experience.
Yeah, well, this is the first 2020, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so yeah, there's a learning process there. So just a few wires, a few tools, a voltmeter, and we're good to go. So this is so good. It's stressful not having this thing. So nice to see the gas gauge working. That's like when you've fought something for so long and you suddenly have it, you realize how important a gas gauge is. Even though it's more than a gas gauge, it's just nice to show it doing something. It sounds like a normal truck, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Anything else I need to look at or check, or I should be good? You've driven it, right?
Good. Yeah.
I'm good to get stuck in some rush hour traffic.
Oh,
The crazy thing is it fits better than the old motor. When the other motor was in it, it had that garbage can lid on it.
yeah.
And then even when you take it off, there's no room underneath.
The fun part is, I remember emailing someone from GM. They were like their SEMA, I don't know, control organizer person.
Yeah.
Back in 2015, 2016, talking about the truck we had built and whether or not it would be anything worthwhile for a SEMA.
Yeah.
And his response to me was, "You think you're going to fit a V8 in one of those?" and something about stretching the fenders and things. And I'm like, this guy obviously has no clue.
You have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, there is more. I mean, apart from, I don't know if you saw it when you had it up in the air, that one manifold I had to massage.
Yeah.
And of course the Y pipe, but one manifold fit in. I think it was this one.
Passenger side of all of the Colorados is usually never a problem. It's always the driver's side. S10s, Colorado, it's that steering shaft and just getting around all the crap piled over here. The other thing that's fun about these is they've got this side stacked up so much with your battery, your fuse box, and everything.
And then there's nothing over here.
And then, yeah, there's nothing over here.
If you was to put an open air intake on it, this would be, it'd be empty.
The one we did with the LT4, because the throttle body ended up like over here pointing this way, we ended up shuffling everything around.
Move all the electrics.
It actually looked so much more appropriate having the airbox over here, the fuse box was back here, the battery over there.
It would balance out a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that was gone, this would look awkward over here. It would look like something is missing. So it's one of the reasons I wanted the airbox in there, just so it looks like it's supposed to be there. But yeah, still has a stock exhaust and the cat, so it's as
Just as quiet as a factory truck.
It's as normal as it could get. Wow, Jared, I can't thank you enough. Really, you do some fantastic work, and the fact that you did this as well as everything else you have going on. Not that you're busy or anything, you know. Hey, is there any way you can slide in an extra job while you're doing all your other job at the same time?
I'll have all the people that have been put on the back burner the past few days that hate me give you a call.
Can you? I'll talk them down. I'll come in there, talk them down, guy. So it is so good to get the truck back. It's kind of a weird sensation. It's been so long since I've driven this. I've been driving the Porsche for 2 weeks straight now, so going from a really, really low car to a high truck, the sensation is very weird, but it's so good to have it back. Now, obviously I'm still driving it very slow. I gotta go get gas, which it's so nice to see the gas gauge working, because we didn't have that before. That was one of our issues. Well, the difference between the V6 and the V8, even though it's the same, obviously, you know, essentially the same drive line, the
At the next
truck,
light, turn right.
you're pressing the gas this much and it's got all the power in the world, where the V6 was almost like a high revving motor. As you rev it up, you could feel the power, but right off idle, it didn't have a lot of punch. The motor still has less than 100 on it. I bought the engine with 32 miles. We put the engine in, put in fresh oil, of course did the modifications to make it work. Put maybe 3 miles on it trying to get the car to work, and of course we had issues. Jared trailered it to his shop in his truck and trailer. He did his work, drove it around, got it working. I think he's put maybe 5 or 10 miles on it. So the motor has less than 100 miles. Everything is good. Just put gas in it, a little over half a tank. Oil pressure is good, trans temp is good. Everything's doing what it needs to do. Everything scrolls through. In fact, the gas mileage, I've been goosing it a little bit. Gas mileage is probably going to be better with this motor than the Colorado motor. Typically the V8 in V8 mode is working a whole lot less. It isn't doing any kind of straining to hold this truck out and cruising. And I mean, the MPG is climbing. Now it's over 20, now it's 21. Alright, so coming back, I'm getting almost 27 miles to the gallon. It's better than the V6 ever got. I've owned the V6 for 5,000 miles and it never got close to what they said it should get. In the city, it was getting like 15, 16 on the highway. It got about 22. This is mixed driving. Of course, I'll verify it when I fill up the tank and do like a back-to-back, you know, fill it all the way up, drive it, measure the mileage, fill it all the way back up. That's like the true way of measuring gas mileage. The next thing to put in is, of course, air conditioning, which it's not too bad right now. It's like 85 degrees. It's not crazy hot, but it's gonna get hot. All right, so we've been on vacation for a week. We've all been off. George went camping and somewhere in North Carolina, I think. I went locally. I just went up to an RV resort park, took the kids, let them bounce around in the pool and do the whole thing there. So it was kind of cool. Didn't really do anything too crazy, but it was nice to have the time off. The truck is perfect so far. One last thing we need to do is to have it tuned. I mentioned that earlier. I've already got a hold of Nate. He is going to be here tonight, so we're going to stay late, get this thing tuned. I don't know if we're just going to street tune it and then put it on the dyno. It's going to make what it makes, but I just want to make sure all the drivability is good, make sure the transmission is dialed in the way it needs to be. The transformation of the truck from the day we bought it to where it is right now, I mean, it's just night and day. What a difference the truck is. A couple of things have to go back on it: spare wheel and the inner fender liner. Now we got it back from Jared, but I've been kind of excited to be driving it all week. It's such a nice a nice thing to have back. Not to mention, I can actually pick stuff up in it. Did debadge it just because I like the cleaner look on this. So I think kind of like a subtle V8 badge on there is kind of nice, and it's not too obnoxious. It's a kind of a giveaway what's going on. So I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna put the badge here. I don't know. I'm gonna look around. This is kind of like, all right, so we're gonna do like a quickie modification here, but ghetto, but it's not making any sound. Well, I don't want it loud, but it's not making any kind of V8 sound. So we're gonna do a quick test. It has a Y pipe, it has the cats on it. It's all factory in the front. It goes into the Colorado massive muffler, as you see there. And then it has that little resonator muffler at the back. So we're going to do a quick experiment. We're going to whack that muffler off. It has a hanger to hold it, so we'll cut it off, see if it gives it a little bit more sound before we get too involved building exhaust. This one's summing, and if it works, we'll just weld a tailpipe on there. All right, so this little bit here will tell us if it gains a little bit of sound. Looks like just like your run-of-the-mill resonator.
Pretty straight through.
Yeah. So let's get a sound clip now. It doesn't sound any different.
It does a little bit.
Does it?
Yeah.
I think revs down slow.
Now you can't see the ticks way back in there, but
Yep. A little bit.
yeah, it's a little bit more than it was.
Yeah. All right, so hopefully internet is back working. For some reason, everything went funky this morning. Phones won't work, internet won't work. So you just tuned it up a little bit, dialed up the speed. So we're all gonna pile to Sam's Club real quick for lunch. We're gonna get some more waters. We need the shop towels for the shop. The blue paper towels, apparently they're like, you can't find those anywhere cheaper than Sam's.
Oh yeah, plus it's a big pack at Sam's. You might as well get the big pack.
Yeah. And then test out the truck, make sure the annoying exhaust isn't annoying. If it is, we have the bit to weld back on. If not, who knows, might replace the muffler that's on it. But now it sounds like a V8. It's got a V8 badge on it. Paul is on his way up here. We're just kind of waiting on him.
Speaking of the
he
exhaust
is,
though, which is nice of this one, what we tried to do,
yeah.
if anyone owns this truck in the future, or even if you want to, buy a MagnaFlow bolt-on exhaust, it's gonna just go on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll bolt on there.
Yeah.
And the problem is with the V6 is they sound terrible, which is why they do such a big muffler and the extra little resonator, that resonator you just saw. V6s never sound good, and when they go into like the 4-cylinder mode, they sound even worse. Well, we're gonna disable the whatever it's called, the AFM, the displacement on demand. Basically, we're gonna disable that because we don't want it to do that. It sounds stupid when it goes down to 6 cylinders. So you can get away with a better exhaust on a V8 because it sounds better. So we'll see. If it's not loud enough, we'll probably build one. We're not gonna buy one.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's just nice to know if you own this truck and you do this conversion, if you do the Y pipe like we did, any exhaust will fit on there, and it's super easy to bolt on. Well, this is officially the biggest thing we've had on the dyno. Look how high it is. So we usually put 2 tires and a scroll fan, but it's not going to work on this one. I think I'm going to use more Corvette tires to make this work. I might have to use every single one of them I've got to make that height. See, that would be usually where we'd put the Honda, and it would be blowing right here. All right, so there we go. We're going to get air at it. So we've got 3 Corvette tires to make it happen. Of course, we're tuning it with HP tuners. We've got Dr. Tune 'em all here. Let me plug in my wideband and we'll get a reading over here. We haven't got a tack. Why is the tack not working? How do I have the box turned on? Running around trying to make everything fit. There we go. This should start working in a minute, and we'll have a temperature here in a second. That's scary. I want to check those straps. It just jumped to the right a little bit. All right, so it's always when you do your own truck that you run into issues. So the wideband wouldn't work, and then the tack wouldn't work, and we're sitting there messing around with it. Last time we used it was on George's car, and everything was like flawless. Turned the dyno off, and he sat here for a week. But tack is working, wideband is working. It's 93 degrees. Not the coolest day, but it's always nice to tune it on a hot day and see what it's going to do, and you know it's going to make more on a cold day. You know how that works. Alright, so we did have an issue trying to get it to stay in gear. So it was shifting up and then downshifting and messing around. It seems like it's holding in gear now. This thing definitely needs an exhaust. You saw where we cut it right after that muffler there, that big ginormous muffler, and it's making no sound at all. It just makes like a whooshing sound. Not that you can hear it, just kind of makes air sound. more noise than the exhaust. The exhaust doesn't do anything. It doesn't sound like a normal exhaust at all. It's kind of weird. Alright, so the GoPro died. I don't know what it is about those stupid things. They go for about an hour and they're done. And in fact, they go down to about 20% and then the battery dies. But it's already making more power to the wheels than the factory motor made at the crank. And so far, just driving around, it gets better gas mileage. So it's a win-win so far. You like that? You look like one of those guys off YouTube building their own exhaust by chopping the end of it off and then revving on everybody, telling everybody I got a sports truck. Super improved lens.
Yeah.
Does that give you better quality?
I guess. I don't know. I broke the front and the back at the same time.
You need to get a phone sponsor.
Yeah.
I've been working on a phone sponsor. I can't get one either. They're too cheap to. They won't give phones away. All right, so I don't know why the light's on, but it's pretty bright. So you just tickle the keys a little bit, as they say in the business. See what it's going to do. Again, we're going for safety as much as anything. Listen for the exhaust growl. Can't even hear it, you just hear a tire. Alright, so 301, 323, and the curve is absolutely perfect. So again, overall best power. It did 310 a couple of times, 308. It's getting kind of hot in here, but we wanted the air fuel as straight as can be, and the torque curve. I mean, look at the torque. Almost makes as much on the bottom as it does on the top. It's almost like it's like a torque flat, not a torque curve. So you knocked it out of the park again, buddy. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Your t-shirt's cool, by the way. I gotta show him your t-shirt.
Yeah, I got these on my website.
Yeah, that is awesome. Check it out on his website.
Yeah,
when you put the glasses down, the hat backwards, it just looks like you. You just gotta get a white jacket.
Yeah, so my lab coat.
White jacket, yeah, absolutely.
I've been telling people I'm a dynocologist.
I'll do all the fun part of ripping it off the dyno and driving it now. All right, so next thing is exhaust. If anybody wants to make a suggestion on exhaust, so we don't have to build one because we're kind of busy. I don't want to be building exhaust for this thing. If you know of one you recommend that you like the sound of that doesn't drone, I don't know truck exhaust very well, and I don't have time to build one, and we're not going to roll around with this Ghetto exhaust where we cut it right here. Look at that thing. That is ultimate YouTube Ghetto right there, just a muffler with a cut turn down. It has the factory cats. We built the Y pipe, so it's nice and quiet, but intake still. I just want to leave the intake alone. It's nice and quiet. So I just took the truck for a drive, and it drives fantastic. I thought it drove good before, but of course now it's tuned. It feels like a completely different animal. So huge thanks to Jared at Current Performance Wiring. Check him out, Current Performance Wiring. HP Tuners for sponsoring the build, supplying the ECU, obviously the credits, and the MPVI box. Shout out to Dr. Tunemal. Nate, he's tuned a few vehicles for us now. Great tuner, knows his stuff. Fixed a whole bunch of little quirks like right away. Took it with me for a drive, got the drivability where we were happy with it. And then of course put on the dyno, we did the full throttle tuning. And I told him, this isn't the sports truck. I mean, I'm running 87 octane for crying out loud. If we ran 93, probably make a little bit more power. But I want to tow with this, I want to pick stuff up with it, I want to drive it. I want it to be normal. I don't want to put expensive gas in this thing. And just give me some pointers what you think for a V8 exhaust. The last one I built for the GMC sounded good. It was a little droney, so we added an extra resonator. I don't want drone, I want V8 sound. Obviously it doesn't have the MPP valves like a Corvette, so I don't have the mild to wild option, but I want decent sound without being annoying. When I take the family in this, they don't want to listen to drone. So let us know what you think. I want to drive it tomorrow and get some video of it. I'm going to do some full throttle acceleration runs on the street to show you what it basically what it runs like, and maybe get some sound clips from the outside. But in the meantime, see you in the next video. Don't forget, enjoy your trucks, and we'll see you in the next video.